Okay, everyone. The tone of this video is going to be a little different. This isn't so much my normal political commentary, and this is just more of something that just desperately needs to get out into the public sphere so people know. This is from Reason. Free Minds, Free Markets. And it says, a Georgia death row inmate will be executed tomorrow. New evidence says, however, that a different man was in fact the shooter. A witness and co-defendant is casting doubt on the testimony that sent Ray Cromartie to death row. Surprise, surprise, he's black. Just another black person, easy victim being put through the system. This country sucks. Lawyers are hoping new evidence will help the case of Georgia death row inmate Ray Cromartie, 52, just days before he is scheduled to die for the 1994 shooting death of store clerk Richard Slies. Cromartie will be killed tomorrow, late Friday. Lawyers filed a new motion containing a notarized affidavit from one of Cromartie's co-defendants in the case, Thaddeus Lucas, who is also his half-brother. Lucas drove Cromartie and Corey Clark to the junior food store in Thomasville the night of the robbery. According to the affidavit, Lucas says that while he did not see what happened, he later overheard Clark talk about shooting Slies in the face. Lucas says they were at a friend's apartment. Clark made the comment to one of the guests in the room. I have not wanted to talk about this before. I have not told anyone what Corey said about shooting the clerk because of worries that it would ruin my life more than it already has, he said. Lucas was convicted for his role in the crime and spent 10 years in prison because of it. He also said that he didn't believe his testimony would change the outcome of the case. Why did Lucas choose to speak now? He said in the affidavit that reading about the case upset him because the story is not the truth of what really happened. Clark ended up testifying against Cromartie on behalf of the state. It was Clark who identified Cromartie as the shooter. The affidavit filed on Friday notes that Clark had clear motive to lie. The affidavit also notes another person who testified against Cromartie, Carnell Cooksey, was at the time a longtime friend of Clark and a recent acquaintance to Cromartie. Cooksey first testified that Cromartie told him he was the shooter, then changed his testimony to in the state habeas proceedings say Cromartie didn't actually make the statement to him. The court did not find the second testimony credible. Lucas is not the only one doubting the story of Cromartie being the shooter. The victim's own daughter, Elizabeth Legate, has previously asked the Georgia Supreme Court to approve DNA testing in the case. She has serious questions about what happened the night my father was murdered and whether Ray Cromartie actually killed him. No physical evidence ties Cromartie to the shooting. Prosecutors made their case based on Clark's testimony and low-quality security camera that showed a man with Cromartie's general description. No court has ever heard or considered this new evidence of Ray Cromartie's innocence. Sean Nolan, Cromartie's lawyer, tells Reason it would be a horrific miscarriage of justice to execute Ray Cromartie without full consideration of all the facts in his case, including the new evidence of his innocence. A coalition of community residents and religious leaders have signed a petition in support of DNA testing in Cromartie's case. And while that's a beautiful thing and should be done, you got to understand that the wheels of government in these cases often turn very slowly because it's bogged down in excess legislation. Once someone's put on the death row list, it can be nearly impossible to get them off outside of mass protest, or some other form that might get them off the list sooner. In all likelihood, the statistics are against Cromartie getting out of this alive. He's probably going to get cleared of guilt post-mortem. Most people who've been put on death row who later get declared innocent, it's usually post-mortem. Bottom line is, this is an absolute miscarriage of justice. The justice system is a joke. It is bogged down in excess legislation. The things on this inside move very slowly. A lot of the time, the lawyers, particularly prosecutors, are corrupt as hell. The cops are corrupt too, especially the NYPD. And when black people were first released from slavery, very first released from slavery, they were an easy target for corrupt cops, many of which who were KKK members. They were a very easy target. And when you put someone through the system, many psychologists agree that the system itself encourages and even exacerbates criminal recidivism, meaning the likelihood of committing another crime once you make it out. because the system treats you like shit. It hurts your psychology. It hurts your self-confidence. It makes you feel like a criminal. It makes you feel filthy and dirty, even if you're actually innocent. The guards treat you like shit. They call you scum. You get treated like a criminal, and after a while, you start to believe it because you hear it so much. It literally just transforms who you are. It makes criminal recidivism more likely. So, as so many black people force through the system, and rich kids, particularly rich white kids, who made some dumb mistake on their 21st birthday, they get put through the system and they're never the same again. Because they always want to put rich people through the system because they think that's going to serve as an example somehow. Yeah, it serves as an example. It serves as an example of how the system don't work. We need mass prison reform in this country, because the way the prison system works right now, it is not a service to this nation whatsoever. But I don't think Cromartie's going to make it out of this alive. He's going to be cleared post-mortem. It's happened before. It's happened that many times before. That's usually the case. Now, if he does make it out, but if he gets cleared before he's dead, well, that would be a beautiful thing. That'd be wonderful. But I just don't think it's very likely. But anyway, I want you guys to share this around. I want you to spread it around. I want everyone to know what's going on. And if the word gets loud enough and big enough, then maybe, just maybe, an online motion to get Cromartie cleared before he's dead, as opposed to after, could be put forward and maybe get him off the death row list as they demand new evidence be considered. Because time and time again, forensic evidence, so-called forensic science, is not very scientific. It often spits in the face of the investigative process. But DNA is very hard to question. It's very good evidence. I'm pretty sure that it'll clear him. It's just a matter of getting that position through in time before it's too late. Anyway, peace.